Gorgeous George here with the Goze, and we're standing with a legend in the sport of mixed martial arts, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Hey Ken, good to see you.
Hey man, fun time man, love being here, appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge event that you're at, but first, before we talk a little bit about bare knuckle and MMA, tell us about Limitless, this event that you're at.
Yeah, I tell you what man, ever since I sat down and actually started to listen a little bit about what they're doing, even the little pill that they have to help you actually focus more, all the things they got going on here are all just kind of edge breaking. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Like I said, I'm just now getting into this, but everything I've heard up to this point, man, I'm all in.
All right, now, you have an event that you're all in about, Valor BK, on the 21st in North Dakota. Tell us a little bit about that.
Man, I tell you, this is something I fell in love with a long time ago. Bare knuckle, something I've always enjoyed. I mean, Tank Abbott came in, put some gloves on, started knocking people out, and they figured they'd sell it as a bill of being safety, which we all know that's not true. And it turned into a $4 billion business. And I'm happy for him. But it took away, at least in my opinion, that purity of fighting, two guys against one another, God-given talent, and it was gone. And I always told myself I had a chance to bring it back, I would. September 21st at Four Bears Casino in Newtown, North Dakota. I'm bringing it back, and boy, I tell you, the card we got is crazy. You got Murano Sokoju against Mo, Mighty Mo. You know, you got Godbeard. I mean, just the card is just crazy when you think about it. Then we got E.C. Smith, who is an ex-pro boxer. I think he's with the Mayweather camp, and Esteban Payan, who is a decorated MMA fighter for himself. And you got MMA against boxing. I mean, a lot of people, especially when you saw what Malignaggi did, everybody thought, oh, boxing's going to do well at this. Well, that just wasn't the case. Bare knuckle is its own beast. And people, when they come into this, have to realize it isn't the same as MMA. It's not the same as boxing. It's different. And it's real, and it's fast.
And it's raw, and it's violent. I know you like that.
Yes.
All right, so Ken, you talked about Godbeard. He's got Jack May. Sokoju's got Mighty Mo in the main event. That's a four-man tournament, but you're crowning a champion that night, right?
We are. The heavyweight we crowned that night. And every one of our weight divisions, we're doing it on September 21st for the heavyweights. Our next event, we'll be doing it for another weight class. Every single one of our 5 different weight divisions will have to go through a tournament in order to carry our belt.
All right. Goze, what do you got for Ken Shamrock?
Ken, now, we've seen you've been a pioneer in mixed martial arts. I love to see you in bare knuckle, but there's been that love of competition that's brought you out back into mixed martial arts, back into pro wrestling. What about bare knuckle? Is there enough passion there that can bring you back to do it?
Well, I tell you, you know, I have the desire. I'm always working out, I'm always training, and I always believe I can compete. But the reality of it is this: I've got 2 broken necks, 1 broken back, a replaced shoulder, a replaced knee, and I still believe I can still get in and compete. But I'm promoting. I'm in the promotion business. My real dream to this point is to be able to have other people understand what I fell in love with when it came to bare knuckle, that purity of fighting. I want to be able to share that with other fighters, for them to feel that love that I felt for bare knuckle, and for them to be able to carve out their own dreams and carve out their own future through bare knuckle.
Are there any new bells and whistles that we could see with your promotion that we haven't seen with any of the others so far?
Well, I think the first thing you're going to see is about how you get to actually watch the fight. We got a pit, and I'm not going to go into details on it because I think by watching it and seeing it, it's almost the same thing as you saw when it came to the cage. When you first saw, you know, UFC and that no-holds-barred era come out, and it was in a cage, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, that is just awesome. And I think our design and our pit will have that same effect. And the difference between the cage and the boxing ring is that people will get to watch this fight. And if you got tickets on the floor and you got VIP tickets, they will be worth every penny of them, because you won't have a fence in the way and you won't have poles in the way or ropes in the way. You have a clear vision into that pit to be able to watch the fight. When you pay for those tickets and those seats to be the best seats, that's what you're going to get.
Now, you've been a fighter, and you know, you've competed with all these guys. You've coached as well. Have you thought about that last speech you're going to give your fighters as a promoter to pump them up? Can you give us a taste?
Well, I don't think it's anything about pumping them up. I think it's more about them understanding what they have in front of them. Same as I did when I first started on that very first UFC, no holds barred, when Gerard Godot kicked Emmanuel Tully in the face and knocked his teeth out, and the crowd went silent. We all knew something special happened, something different. And I think that just being able to have them understand where they're at right now in this beginning of this bare knuckle stage, that they could be the godfather, the first godfather of this bare knuckle moving forward, and everything is riding on how they performed that night. This will be remembered forever as the very first Valor BK bare knuckle event, and history will be going down that night. And how do you want to be remembered?
I love it. I'm inspired. And why not? This is one of the originals, the OGs of MMA, also a former Intercontinental Champion in WWE. Ken, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you, and we look forward to the event. VBK on September 21st in North Dakota. Fight TV, DirecTV, Dish Network, order it or he's coming after you. And folks, if you're in Vegas, stop by the Limitless event here at this lounge. It's beautiful. If you're in town for Mr. Olympia this weekend, thanks for the time.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.